Imagine the most hostile place on planet Earth. A place so cold, it can freeze steel solid. A place so desolate, it is used by NASA to simulate the surface of Mars. This is Antarctica, a continent buried under a sheet of ice 4 kilometers thick. It is our planet's great white tomb. So what if I told you that this continent of ice is hiding its greatest secret because of the cold? What if I told you that this 4 kilometer thick sheet of ice isn't a prison, it's a blanket? And underneath that blanket, warmed by the very core of our planet, lies a lake of pure, liquid water the size of a country. A lake that has been sealed off from our world for 15 million years. The question wasn't just what was in this lost world. The question was, what has 15 million years of evolution in total darkness created? For decades, the existence of Lake Vostok was a scientific ghost story. First detected by Soviet radar in the 1970s, it was an anomaly that defied belief. The immense pressure of the ice above lowers the freezing point of water, while the geothermal heat from the Earth's mantle below warms it from the bottom up. The ice sheet, a symbol of extreme cold, was acting like the world's greatest insulating blanket, creating a stable, liquid environment. But this wasn't just a geological curiosity. It was a biological time capsule. Fact: at an estimated 15 million years of total isolation, Lake Vostok represents the oldest, most pristine, and most alien ecosystem on our planet. Any life found within would have followed a completely separate evolutionary path, a second genesis hidden from the rest of the world. It was the biological equivalent of discovering a locked room that had been sealed since before the dawn of humanity. This discovery created a terrifying new problem, a perfect scientific paradox. To see what was inside the box, you had to open it, but the very act of opening it could instantly destroy whatever was inside. A single microbe from our modern world, carried down on a drill bit, could trigger a plague, wiping out a 15 million year old evolutionary experiment before we even saw it. Conversely, what if the lake contained an ancient virus, an extremophile with no known cure, that could escape to the surface? They had found a lost world. Now came the impossible mission. How do you perform planetary surgery from 4 kilometers away? The Vostok drilling project became one of the most audacious engineering feats in human history. At the most isolated outpost on Earth, a team of Russian engineers and scientists began a decades-long descent. Their drill was a behemoth, a slow-motion bullet chewing its way through ice cores that were a perfect record of Earth's ancient atmosphere. To keep the borehole from collapsing and refreezing under pressures that could crush a submarine, they had to fill it with over 60 tons of freon and kerosene. But this created the contamination nightmare. How could they break through to the pristine lake without this toxic fluid pouring in? The solution was genius. They stopped the main drill just meters from the lake. They then designed a new, smaller thermal drill bit, a sterile surgical instrument that would use clean silicone oil and its own heat to melt through the final barrier. The plan: let the immense pressure of the lake itself force a column of pure lake water up into the borehole, where it would instantly freeze to the drill bit, creating a perfect, untainted sample. For years, the world watched. The drill descended, meter by painstaking meter, 3,700 meters deep. The pressure was immense.
Oh, it's perfect.
The risks were astronomical. Then, in February of 2012, after more than 20 years of drilling, the sensors flashed. They had breached the surface. They had made first contact. The time capsule was open. And what they found inside would change our understanding of life forever. An untainted core of frozen lake water was pulled to the surface. In the sterile labs at Vostok Station, the analysis began. The first surprise: the water itself was a chemical anomaly, supersaturated with oxygen, up to 50 times more than in a normal lake, likely from the ice melting under pressure. But the real shock came when they sequenced the DNA found within the sample. The lake was not a sterile void, it was a thriving kingdom. They didn't find one or two new species, they found the genetic signatures of over 3,500 different species of bacteria, archaea, and fungi. An entire, complex ecosystem that had evolved in absolute darkness and crushing pressure, surviving not on sunlight, but on a diet of rock and the geothermal heat from the planet's core. But the lake's biggest secret wasn't what was living in it now, it was the ghosts of what lived there before. As scientists analyzed sediment cores from the bottom of the lake, they found something that completely rewrote the history of the continent. They found fossils. Not of strange microbes, but the fossilized pollen of ancient trees like southern beech and pine. They found the hardened remains of crustaceans, and even tardigrade screechers that live in water and moss. The evidence was undeniable. Antarctica was not always a world of ice. 15 million years ago, Lake Vostok was an open-air, freshwater lake, surrounded by a temperate rainforest teeming with life. The time capsule wasn't just hiding a strange ecosystem, it was hiding the memory of an entire lost green continent. This ghost lake beneath the ice didn't just hold the past of our own planet, it held a mirror to our future and our search for life in the cosmos.
All parameters nominal.
We have activation.
The discovery of a thriving ecosystem in Lake Vostok completely changed the game for astrobiology. It proved that life can exist in the most extreme, hostile, and seemingly impossible environments. And it immediately pointed our attention towards other, similar worlds right here in our own solar system. Jupiter's moon Europa and Saturn's moon Enceladus are both covered in a thick shell of ice. And beneath that ice, scientists are now almost certain there are massive, liquid water oceans warmed by the tidal forces of their parent planets. For decades, the great question has been, could there be life swimming in those dark, alien seas? The answer, thanks to a frozen lake in Antarctica, is now a resounding yes. It is entirely possible. The incredible, decades-long mission to drill into Lake Vostok was more than just an exploration. It was a dress rehearsal. It was humanity practicing the very same techniques we will one day use to send a probe to another world, drill through the ice of Europa, and lower a camera into a lightless, alien ocean for the first time. The journey to the bottom of our world has given us a roadmap to the stars. It has taught us that even in the most hostile, darkest, and loneliest places, life finds a way. And it leaves us with the ultimate question: if a lost world can hide for 15 million years beneath the ice of our own planet, what else is waiting to be discovered in the silent oceans of other worlds?